One of my favorite Harley-Davidson memories or stories is when I was about 13 years old. I asked my dad if I could take his flathead up the road. And he said, well, if you can start it, you can take it. So I got it started. And then he started laughing and he's like, if you wreck that bike, he says, don't come back. And I know he was joking, but I took that very serious. So up the road I went. First gear, second gear, third gear, thought I was king of the world. I get about 3 miles up the road, I turn around, I come back. We lived on a pretty rough back road. And I probably hit the biggest pothole I ever see, and the front tire hit the pothole. And I felt it hit, and then the back tire hit the pothole, and of course that was a rigid. And it shot my ass off the seat about that high, almost going over the top of the handlebars. Pulled the bike over, caught my breath, and I don't think I was ever that scared in my life.
When I was a kid, my dad always had Harleys, and one of his, when I was about 12 or 13, it was a 96 Road King fuel injector, the police Road King. It was white, had the turnstile hockey puck saddlebag lids. I remember one time he took me for a ride and I was sitting in front of him. He had his hand on the bars and he actually took his hands off the handlebars and put mine on there. And it still gives me goosebumps to this day thinking about it. It was such a rush and exhilaration, my first time like actually driving a Harley. So.
My favorite Harley-Davidson memory was when I went from Vermont all the way down to Florida on my Harley-Davidson XR 1200. Made it a 4-day trip. Had a blast, best memory of my life.
So some of my favorite riding stories, some of the places that I've been, I guess. A lot of times I got caught in the rain. Those are always a fun story. Out in North Carolina, I got caught in the rain. Headed to Daytona, I've ridden in the rain. Laconia, I've been in the rain. But then some of the nicer rides with my dad, a lot of rides with my dad.
All right, my favorite Harley-Davidson story. My third year here at Wilkins. It was during the wintertime, and this guy named John had reached out to us about getting a road glide. I'll never forget him, nicknamed Thorpey. So I remember Thorpe came in, and he sat on a road glide. He sat on a couple of different motorcycles, but like he was this big, massive guy. And he had a neck on like this, covered in tattoos. This guy was awesome. Long story short, when he got the bike, I delivered it to him up in Swan, and I've never seen a grown man pacing back and forth. Like I was dropping it off of the trailer, and like the guy's like pacing back and forth. He was so amped up. He was so pumped to have his first Harley-Davidson, and for me, it was. I'll never forget that. Like that's why we do this here at Wilkins, is to make dreams come true.